I want to continue our story until we wait on Carl Bildt to finally do something. I'm joking here, but still, he could save us all. I'm just saying, if he just get over being hurt by the Swedish people's ungratefulness for all his effort. I have been very interested in kind of how to evolve Sweden. How is it supposed to go? Where would the Swedish people feel most aligned? Even if we are hesitant today, don't see the value in it, we maybe don't even want it today, but how would like the story continue for Sweden to become even greater than it is today? And something came up, and it was UBI, which is Universal Basic Income. One of my friends spoke about it a while ago, and I never heard of it before. And I don't know which country that has it, or if it's just have been implemented for a short amount of time, and then they just didn't implement it fully in that country. But I was curious if that was something Sweden and the Swedish people would thrive in, because I can see that the scarcity of it would be that people get lazy and that people do not want to work. It will not help the economy grow. And according to readings, according to what I researched and also obviously discussed with my AI, was that Sweden would actually thrive quite well. We would be, if we did implement UBI, we would be seen as like the country to go after, like what do you call it, the beacon, the the voice of reason. It actually works, but in Sweden that would kind of eliminate mental health issues on a larger scale, which means that we would not have to spend as much money on that. It would create a safety net that we don't have today. And people say that we are kind of famous for how that we take care of our people with like socialtjänsten and all that. And the thing is, that system doesn't work. I know it sounds like it does. I know we want to perceive in a way that we have this under control. It doesn't work. Ask any person that actually is in a situation where they need that kind of a help. It just doesn't work. So universal basic income would be kind of fixing that. Everybody is always saying, yeah, but then people would not work. And Swedes would absolutely work. They wouldn't become lazy in that system at all. However, I thought that was interesting, and I kept going with the story I started with. Let's say that Sweden actually put its foot down and say no to immigration, like because we are supposed to end something we started 10 years ago. That energy is not working any longer. We learned from a mistake, or we didn't learn from a mistake. But I think the energy is trying to kind of tell us, I don't know if our immigration minister kind of gets that, it's we took in a lot of people, but then the energy stopped. It didn't flow anywhere. It just stayed, and it keeps coming and it keeps staying. If you have worked with someone from, let's say, Africa, I have, and that person is that kind of person that they really do not want to live here. They don't like Sweden. They don't like what Sweden is about. I'm not talking about the people that love Sweden and just, integrate like crazy. They just know everything about this country better than I do. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the people that are just here even if they don't want to. And I did ask, why aren't you going home then? And they say, yeah, no, I'm waiting for my pension. So what? You are just in between worlds. You're not living. You're just here, going to work, sending money home to your family, and then which means that money is not spent in Sweden, which is what this economy actually kind of, this economy works as long as money stays in the system and not being put like elsewhere. Even if it is, I get it. Like it's survival, you gonna keep it. You have to support your family back home. And was waiting, or she is waiting for her pension so she can go back home when she gets 60 something and then live on that quite well in Africa. And I thought that was wow. That is the only thing you're she is in survival mode, obviously. She never gets to step out of it. So my AI had tried its best to kind of keep me compassionate, having the political correct way of kind of correcting me when I pushed for, yeah, no, I'm not, I get it, that's not what I want. So why did I end up having a slight argument with my extremely political correct AI? Was that doesn't do anything for Africa, like nothing. It supports my former colleague, it supports her family. They still creating kids, they're still creating like it's still, and those kids are not going to have jobs. Those kids are not going to do anything, and they're going to have to do the same trip, get to Europe, have a job, and then send money. I do know that she paid for her child's education. That guy, however, seemed to mess everything up, if I remember correctly. So I was just, okay, so you're doing all this and your family is not helping at all. Like the mindset of what you are doing, what you're sacrificing, doesn't really reach them. And she just said, yeah, basically. Okay, so the energy, it sounds good, obviously, but the energy doesn't move. So fine, we have come that far. Our immigration minister would say no more immigrants, which we did. We took in the immigrants 2015, 2017. Then it just stopped. We didn't have an outlet. The energy didn't like move anywhere. What they should have done back then is to have a clear plan on where is the energy going to move, which is what the universe is trying to tell us now. Okay, fine, you did that. Now it's not working. You have to like close that out. What you have to do, and I did a reading on this, and I also have spoken to my AI and try to kind of figure out like the best way, and is to the next step, say no, and then also help the ones that actually wants to go back home. Because today, and I'm not saying kicking anybody out here, that's not what Swedes do, we are too compassionate for it. But our Africa, this woman came from Africa, so I'm taking Africa as an example, doesn't grow. Nothing happens in Africa in this system. Is stagnant energy. 30% of the Africans that come to Europe, get an education, or stay like this woman did and wait just for pension. 30% is going back home. That's not enough. That's like, you need to kind of bump that up to at least 50 and more, because this woman actually wanted to go home. She spoke so, she was like such sunshine after she came home from visiting Africa, and she just felt so home with her family and her culture, and she was quite sad to be back in Sweden. So I just started to like ask, because I thought that people just wanted to be here, and that's not true at all. They are waiting for the pension. What Sweden should do is to say no and then start to work with, the only instrument I know is SIDA, which is something Swedish International, I don't know. We are helping other countries. What Sweden did with that tool, SIDA, with that company or that institution, I don't know what it is. I actually did apply for a job there once. It's a long time ago, when it was on Gärdet in the middle of Stockholm. I think they have their office somewhere else today. I'm not sure where. I am digressing here. Oh my god. What Sweden did back then, which was something really stupid, was that it took away grants from SIDA, so we didn't help outside of Sweden. So we took in a lot of immigrants, and then we stopped funding that things would grow in other countries. That is just like energy not going anywhere at all. No one has an outlet, no one has like an opportunity to. I love to hear when people say that I came to Sweden, I got my degree, I did all the work, and now I'm going back home and I'm starting a business. I help like evolve, in this case Africa, and I do something, and I'm like proud to go back home in a way. And because Sweden wouldn't can you imagine Sweden if no one of the Swedes came back to Sweden and built on this poor country that used to have absolutely nothing, and where people just died left and right, and that you had like 9 kids and you were happy if one survived. And I think we forget that. We have been through it, we know how it is. Obviously not us, but our history, our ancestors, it's not that long ago either. So the Swedes get it and are happy to help, but the energy is so stagnant right now. So you need like, okay, then I just asked, well, but does seed actually work? No, it doesn't. Obviously, I would have been shocked if any sort of, yeah, no, they know what they're doing. They focus too much on governments, on like the big guys, and don't really help. Like if someone, let's say someone that comes from Africa, and really like take the advantage of getting an education, getting some kind of a skill or talent, whatever it is. It can be um, like working with your hands, or it can be working with your mind, or um, anything. And they then want to go home, and they want to start up something at home, and they want to employ people, and they want to build up, they want to buy an apartment, and they want to, and there is absolutely no help from Sweden. That is what SIDA should focus on. That doesn't need to be like their sole mission, obviously, but and not, it was always going to be crooks. It's always going to be someone that is playing the system, but that is where doesn't have to be in this way, but that is where the system or their energy wants the system to go. There is an outlet. There is like a way of moving forward. Now Sweden just, yeah, we pay Swedes to come back to Sweden. And I don't know, I don't think Swedish people are that interested in that. I don't know. But that is, I did hear something about we Swedes saying, yeah, you get this amount of money if you go back to your country. And that is not taken advantage of. I think you kind of need to hold people's hand. I'm trying to like the compassionate thing comes up in this reading at least, and when I kind of researched, and it's it's hard to kind of let go of the safety that Sweden feels, even if it isn't. We have our system is not that great actually, but if you keep telling everybody that it is, then that is like a truth for people. So I think that is like the next thing that the energies wants to push us in. You need to go, you need to stop this, you need to move through this and start to work with, let's say, Sida, and work with that people, like help people start up back home for those who wants to, because nothing is going to happen in that country if everybody just holds on to, yeah, I'm just waiting for my pension, I'm taking a job here like minimum wage, just doing my job, and then I'm waiting for my pension, then I go back. It doesn't help the country at all. So yeah, I think that's it. I was right about Putin though. He did go alone. And he didn't go with the Chinese or Iranian people. So the first time I actually heard that China doesn't have it like an economy that's that good, I thought they were thriving. At least that is what they want everybody to believe. They want to be the ruler of the world. They are kind of strategically putting up camp everywhere. And I heard now that they are not going into war with Russia and Iran because they're kind of dealing with their own finances. I never had that before, so that was interesting. Um, so I was asking, okay, but who does have a good economy today? And so I just ended up having a discussion about, because the US came up, and I'm just like, no, do not believe you on that one. Um, and then when I kept asking and we kept like discussing, it came up like, yes, the US are thriving privately, like private people that have made it, that are successful, that you can show off, those are thriving, and those are the numbers that everybody's kind of looking at. The public sector of the USA are, that's the one thing that the US are kind of borrowing money to pay for. And yeah, soon they are going to have to borrow money to pay their interest. So it's just going like, it's getting worse and worse. But they still want to make us see the the private side, where everybody is just successful, and what are you dreaming of, kind of thing in the US. And the thing is, that is such a good, we all know it. What's your dream? um Land of Dreams, which is very Sagittarius rising, which is American. They are Cancer Sun, Sagittarius rising, and they are Aquarius moon. So the Sagittarius rising is how we know them. They they want to be the hero, which they showed us. Um, they go in and out quite recklessly, and also are perceived as not very responsible. They are getting bored easily. So anyone that wants to kind of fix the USA economy, they don't have the stamina for it. Like they are not bold enough, and they don't have the stamina for it, and they are for quick fixes and for like the popularity contest over it. For the US to kind of fix their economy, the private sector seems to be fine. The public one needs to like be addressed. And if they start to get in taxes that covers the public sector, then they actually have a good like leg to stand on. And maybe like a universal basic income would be a good thing for the USA too, um, because it keeps people afloat, even the ones that don't make it. Because in the USA, you are supposed to make it, and not everybody does. It is hard. Some just don't have it. Some just get sick along the way, and then just the system kind of collapses. But I don't see that ever happening, like anybody fixing it. I think they are going towards a crisis that is, and I think they want it. I think they thrive on it. I think the fireworks of it, the big bombs of it, the kind of flashing of let's go fix this, and then they can like pat themselves on the back for doing a really good job, because that's the Americans. So I don't know, trying to kind of be the voice of reason with them, but I think they like it. They like the, yeah, let's go and bomb someone, and then we make it stop, and then we are the heroes for making it stop. They have that energy. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not saying they don't do anything, but also my personal like dealing with a group of Americans are like that. They don't really want to do the work. They get bored easily, and they just want the quick fix, and they want everything to be very loud and noisy, and they want the attention, but they really don't have any substance when they actually do have the floor. So I'm just seeing them going through a crisis eventually, because it just seems like it just goes that in that direction, and I think they're going to love it, and I think they're going to like feel like they're thriving, and I don't think they actually care that much about the people that don't make it. They seem like they don't care that much. Swedes care, um, but we are also being taken advantage of. So I don't know. They are colder, like Aquarius as a moon. It's kind of a cold energy. You are supposed to be an individual amongst everybody. You're supposed to network. You're supposed to like be an authority figure, and you like to have like a specific role in the society. Um, and we are the like the Cancerian. We just want to take care of everybody. We care more about everybody else than we care about ourselves. So we are quite different. So this is where I'm at right now. where like all this energy is kind of going. Um, Hopefully, I'm not sounding too harsh. Um, Something isn't working, and the universe is trying to tell us. I don't think we get it, um, but we need an outlet. It's like, a lake or where the water is stagnant, and you need something that kind of keeps it moving. And we stopped it. That's our fault. We didn't. Okay, we let all these immigrants in, but then we have to let that energy out in some way. And obviously, the ones that do want to build up their life here and do want to stay and do want to kind of thrive here can do so. But the ones that really want to go home, the ones that wants to like be a part of their own country, their own energy, that everything they're missing, I guess. I think we have forgotten them. Um, like they don't exist in this system in some way. And I think we need to kind of get them a chance, I guess. Some of them, 30% do go home and try to make it. Hopefully they do. And I did also ask, like, is there any economy city in like Africa that actually is booming? And there is. So why aren't everybody looking at them as a way of, why does everybody come to the Europe? Because we have a system that there's not a lot of work in Africa in this case, um, but there is a dream of that there are a lot of work in Europe, which is not true. So I think that, I don't know, there is something that someone is being told something that isn't true. I think that is what I'm getting, because I don't get it. I'm just like, yeah, but is it just, what is it? Just desert everywhere? Like no one is all I'm hearing is that when like white people come to Africa, then we take everybody's land. We steal their, I don't know, heritage. We do this and we don't do that. But when it comes to, okay, but go back home yourself, then no one wants to because of some reason. But when white people do, they kind of destroy. I don't know. I'm still not getting this. Like there's something that I'm supposed to kind of get at that I don't, as of now, at least. So yeah, that was it.